Okay, so now we're going to talk about being disciplined, consistent. I'm calling myself the consistent queen. I say that because it's so important, kings and queens, because I know it's guys and girls. We are kings and queens. Well, you guys are kings. Queens, kings and queens. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Guys, women, we are all kings and queens, okay? Well, women are queens. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. So, with that being said, discipline, consistency. Consistency is like the key part of everything. I talk about consistency so much because it's repetition. Like, say, now that I'm started doing content for YouTube, this is something I used to do for social media on Instagram. Like my pictures, I would take so much content in one day that I would have content for sometime months. Sometimes to this day, I post content from years ago. I have so much content. Okay. So when you've consistently disciplined yourself and dedicated yourself to something, I'm dedicated to this channel. Okay. I'm not going anywhere. I'm dedicated. Hey, if you dedicated, tell me right now in these comments. Dedicated. I am dedicated. I don't care what it is, whether it's content, your goals, your admirations, working on yourself, being the best you can be, being a better person for your children, your wife, your husband, whatever the case may be. Dedicate yourself to something, right? So I am dedicated. And the way you become dedicated and things is by being consistent, being able to learn discipline. Like, discipline is everything. Like, sometimes I don't feel the best, but guess what? It doesn't matter what I feel like when I've become disciplined. Sometimes I don't feel like going to the gym, but my body, it's like my body overpowers my mind. It's like my body already, it's like waking up and brushing my teeth. I go to the gym, just as gym is the example, because my body is so used to it. So when you're consistency, all are you when you're consistent, all you're doing is forming discipline. Discipline is the number one thing in life. I, Discipline, oh my gosh, that's how you make things happen. Because whether you feel like doing it or not, you just gonna do it because you're so used to doing it, right? So when you wake up in the morning, I'm probably pretty sure you do almost the same thing every single morning. So this start being consistent at something so you can form a discipline in something, whether that's your content. You can do on Saturdays. You can whenever you have time after work, before work. I don't know what your schedule is. Everyone's schedule is different. Whether it's 1 hour, 20 minutes, just learn to be consistent. Like, consistency will take you everywhere you want to go because it's gonna be like eating. We gotta eat every day, right? I don't really know nobody that eats something, even if they drink their food as a smoothie. They're basically eating. You know what I mean? Even if they drinking their food. That's something we do every day, right? So when you become disciplined, it's just like that. It's like waking up, brushing your teeth. It's like, this is what we do. This is what I do. This is what I do. So become disciplined. Become disciplined. Okay. That's the key. Get you that little time you have whenever you have time. And that's the time you use. You can't use the time when you're busy. No, you're busy at that time. You use the time when you're not busy. We all have time when we're not busy. We all have time when we're not busy. I don't care what nobody say. You have time when you're not busy. That Netflix time, that's the time when you're not busy. Watching a game, that's the time when you're not busy. It's a sacrifice because, yeah, you want to be entertained. You want to detach yourself from work sometimes. Like, how some people like, I just came from work. They don't want to work again. But then at the end of the day, that's why it's always best to do something you like, something you love, because then it don't feel like work, right? So that's something that I always like to talk about is consistency in doing things and the discipline in doing things, the positive energy, being around positive individuals, separating yourself from negativity because those things can interfere with your progress, right? If you give your energy to it. Okay. So learning how to not give your energy to things that is meant to destroy you, that's meant to interfere with your progress. You have to separate yourself sometimes. And it's nothing wrong with separating yourself. Some people always, it's not always, no, people have to learn. It's a good thing to learn how to spend time alone. It doesn't mean not be like, that doesn't mean like forever not be, just like some time alone. It could be an hour a day. If you're in a relationship, that doesn't mean, it doesn't go for me saying like a person being alone as being single. I'm saying like alone time in general, just to give yourself time to yourself, process the things in your mind, what you have going on, what can make you better, what makes you happy. Those things will help when you are around people, because if you can't spend time with yourself alone, that's a problem. I'm not sure exactly what the problem is, but that is something that you definitely want to learn how to do, is be able to spend time with yourself. It's very valuable to get to know you more, because we change. We're not meant to be the same. We change. When we was a baby, we didn't walk. We didn't come out walking. We changed. We didn't we when we got became a teenager, then you didn't know how to get a job from there. As an adult, different fields that you work in, different businesses that you build, you're going to change. We're not meant to stay the exact same. So when people be feeling like you change, you be like, oh yeah, I changed a whole lot. I have. This is a new me. Whoever knew me a long time ago, they do not know this Chin. They don't know Chin. I'm like a whole different human right now. And it's not meant for me to be that same person I was 1 year ago, 2 years ago, maybe 6 months ago, definitely 5 to 10, 15, 20 years ago. No, it's not meant. So, yes, it's nothing wrong with change. Change is a good thing, okay? It's elevating. When you change, you're elevating. If you're changing in that way, because some people change for the worse. When you start feeling like you're changing from the worst, you have to take a step back and figure out what is making this change happen in that moment, because people know when they're changing for the worse. I've changed for the worse before, but then I had to like gather my thoughts together like, okay, this is what's interfering with my growth. These are the things I'm going to have to let go, even though it's things that I may love or like, or people I like to be around. Sometimes you have to let them go to be able to take care of you. You're your most important person, because if you can't help yourself, it's hard to help anybody around you. So, being able to learn that, it's all a part of growth. I literally said that I want to learn something every single day. Like, it's very important to me that I learn something every single day. Something, something. And we can learn from books, we can learn from audios, we can learn from people. I've learned so much from people. I've learned so much from people. It's not a person that I've come across I haven't learned something from. Nobody. It doesn't matter what a person does for a living. It doesn't matter how bad of a person has been to you. You're going to learn something from them. So every day I look forward to learning something new. Okay. As I got older, I started to notice, I was like, dang, you know how when you think you're just so intelligent, so smart, and I'd be like, dang, not to talk down on myself or you're not talking down on yourself. You're like, dang, there's so much I don't know. And I'm so intrigued and so excited to learn more. Like, I'm excited to learn more things about all different type of stuff. Like, my normal things I already know. It's like, okay, I know that stuff already. I want to expand my knowledge and become more intelligent on a lot of different things. Okay. It was a conversation that my photographer was talking about, and I was reading this book, The Law of Human Nature, and I had read about this pilot in that book. Really good book. Okay. So when he was telling me, but he's taking classes to be a pilot right now. And it was crazy because I had read, I can't think of the guy's name right now, but I had read a story on this guy and he was taking flight, and he had like a time where he had to uh something happened where he had to, I think it was like basically something happened at the moment, right? And it was like overstimulated. He had so many things to do as a pilot. So he said it seemed like it was a long time when it was happening, but in that moment, it was quick. After he looked at the time, it was something that happened quickly. And so when my photographer had told me about that experience, it was like I had a relatable story I could connect to because it was something in a book that I read that was similar to that, you know, like you you flying a plane? You're flying a plane, you're thinking about, I mean, you're thinking about so many things at once. So when he was telling me the story, it was like a great thing to relate a story I read to a real life person that I actually know, you know? So it was teaching me more about pilots, and what they go through. Would I ever thought I would ever be interested in knowing anything about that? No. But when my photographer, it's like my big brother, love him. My photographer told me he was, and I had seen him taking these online because he has a YouTube channel. And I had seen him taking these classes. And when he said he took his first flight out, it's like that's like that connection of that story from the law of human nature to the story that he had told me whenever he took a flight. And it kind of like, I mean, just imagine you in the air and then something you get confused about a little bit. You it you don't have much time to think too much about anything other than what's in front of you, which he told me. He said I couldn't think about nothing that was going on. I'm making sure I'm finna land this plane. You get what I mean? So just things like that. I just look forward and I love learning from people. I love learning new things. It doesn't take away from the things that I already love because it's things that I already naturally love. But being able to learn new things from different people is just something that I'm so intrigued by as I've matured. Okay. It wasn't something I've always been curious too. Okay. That's one thing. I used to be curious so much. My mom hated me asking questions, but I'm a curious person. And if a person don't tell me, I'm going to go figure it out myself. It probably wasn't just the best thing as a kid, but kind of honestly, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be the person I am today because being a curious person, I always figure things out, which is a good thing. I want to figure things out. I want to figure out why things work, why they don't work, why a person doing this when they're not, certain things that I'm interested in. Okay. Not everything. But yeah, being able to be knowledgeable on different things and growing is like a good thing. Okay. So that's one thing that